Welcome to Dookie Dairy. These cows you can see just over here is a milking herd at the dairy. So these have all calved and now they're producing milk into that. Every day they come out here, they get a new, well, twice a day they come out here and get a new patch of grass. So you can see they've got an electric fence here, and cows are smart enough to know when that's on, so they actually won't touch that. They'll just steer clear of that, so you can see they're grazing that grass down. And then tomorrow this fence will get moved along and they'll get access to this nice fresh new grass here. So I'm going for a little walk up here just to check the pasture quality and quantity up here. So I'm just going to leave you to take care of the cows and keep an eye on things for me. Okay, so look, there's plenty of pasture out here. It's mostly ryegrass and clover pasture that these girls have got. You can see here these girls have got neck collars on them, and that's how we know these girls come into the robotic milking area. The robot knows who each cow is, so it can provide us information on what the cow's been doing throughout the day and how much milk she produces as well. So in addition to, you can see the grass these cows are getting, when they come into the dairy, they also get some form of concentrate. So it might be a pellet or it might be a grain. And cattle really tend to like that quite a lot, so it means they're more likely to come into a dairy. So these girls are getting towards the stage where they're finishing their grass allocation here for the day. So in a little while, they'll be coming back into the dairy to get milked. So after this video, we'll take you into the dairy shed so you can see how the robot works and actually milking these cows. Normally these girls are getting milked twice a day. It does depend on the time of year and what's happening, but that's the current plan. So all of these cows are Holstein Friesians, and they're a fairly uniform bunch because it makes it easy for the robot to work out how to place the teat cups on to actually get these cows milked. So they're this routine sort of black and white colour, and where that black and white is, each one of these cows we can tell individually, even without their ear tags, based on where the black and white is on their bodies. They also have ear tags in their ears, so one of those is the National Livestock Identification Tag, which is in their right ear, that little white button. So all these cows have been bred here. That little white colour denotes been bred here. In their left ear is their management tag, so that tells us visually which cow that is, and often it will have some sire information there as well, so both the cow's number but also who their sire was. But we can tell that also, you'll note the neck collar number matches up with that tag number in their ear. Cows that used to be freeze branded on their backsides when we had a standard milking parlour. Now that we have the robotic milking parlour, these cows don't get freeze branded anymore because we're not actually looking at the rear end of the cows, so they don't need to get freeze branded because the robot knows which cow it is by their RFID tag in their ears. Sorry, this one actually uses the neck collar. But similarly, we can use the tags in their ears for a whole range of collecting data as well. But because these cows actually have the data log on their necks, then that's what's used within the robotic milking system here. The other thing you'll note with these girls is that even though some of these cows aren't actively eating the grass, they're actually chewing. So what those cows are doing is that they might be finishing a mouthful, but they also might be chewing their cud. And so that's where they regurgitate some of the food from their reticular rumen, or their first two stomachs. They'll re-chew that, they'll add some more saliva to it, then it goes back down into the stomach. So cows are pretty impressive in terms of how they can utilize this grass. We couldn't utilize this grass in the same way because with bacteria and protozoa, the little microorganisms in their guts, they can break down things like cellulose, for example, into volatile fatty acids, and then that powers their body. So these cows are producing a lot of milk each day, so they really are athletes in terms of how much they can produce from this sort of quality of pasture. So even when they're lying down having a rest, you'll see some of these cows eating like 2209 we can just see over here. These cows are horned, but they'll get dehorned when they're young, or they'll have the pole gene from some new sires that are polled or but don't have horns. So ideally in the longer term, this herd would be entirely polled. You can see one or two cows here with slight skers.